Hey, what's up guys? WRG here with another video. So today I'm really excited. I'm launching a new series. It's called the Master Series. And today we're going to be doing mastering the Ruger LCP II. So basically it's going to be 10 different sections I'm going to be going through. It's going to be very detailed. So if that's what you're looking for, you definitely came to the right place. So basically, if you want to skip along, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to leave those different titles of different sections in the description, so you could jump right to them if you need to. But if you have a little bit of time, you want to kick back, relax, watch a little gun TV, you could watch the entire thing, and I'd be more than happy to hear about that. So the 10 sections I'm basically going to be going over is going to be the brief history of the firearm, what you get in the box, what are the specifications like the weight, size, capacity, etc. You're going to be having the disassembly and the disassembly of the firearm. You're going to have maintenance, how to properly take care of it, and the operation of the firearm. 6 is going to be the accessories, how to customize it, and what I choose to put in it, aka my ammunition of choice. 7 is going to be the performance. I will be taking it out into the field to see how it does. 8 is going to be the appearance and ergonomics of the firearm. 9 is going to be my constructive criticism, what I think they can improve on it. Also, maybe some competitive options that you might want to consider. And 10 is going to be my concluding thoughts and final impressions of the firearm. So if that's what you're looking for, you definitely came to the right place. Thanks for watching, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so here on your right hand side, you can see the Ruger LCP Custom, and on your left hand side, you can see the Ruger LCP II. Now the Ruger LCP Custom is a lot more similar to the original Ruger LCP, which was launched back in 2008. This was Ruger's first entry into the ultra lightweight pistol market. Now, it was a high demand from police officers to have a nice small backup, or from civilians to have a defensive weapon they could use for emergencies. Now, it was launched, like I said, in 2008, and then they went ahead and did some upgrades to it in 2013. So that's kind of like their second generation, even though it was very like low-key. They were very low-key about it, but what they did was they shortened the trigger pull, and they also enhanced the sights. Now, in 2015, they did some major changes, which is to like this pistol, which is the Ruger LCP Custom. Now, with the Ruger LCP Custom, you can see the skeletonized trigger that they added. This was a double action firearm, and they also increased the sights very prominently, much higher than the second generation. And some people even complained that these sights were too high, since the pistol was intended to be more like a pocket pistol, and they thought it might snag. But personally, I had no issues with that, and I've had a great experience with this firearm. Now, in 2016, that's when they did their complete redesign of the firearm. And here, you'll notice that the Ruger LCP II was born, and it had much wider grip, which was very nice to hold on to. The texture itself was completely different. The serrations on the slide were also very different, you could tell. We have front serrations and back serrations on the Ruger LCP II. It's also a single action firearm, and the safety mechanism is within the trigger, which allowed them to lighten up the trigger pull significantly, which makes a big difference when shooting this firearm, believe me. You could also tell the sights were changed. It's not as prominent as the Ruger LCP Custom, but it is pretty prominent. You can still use it pretty well, and it does have also a non-glare on the back. Both these firearms have been safety checked, but let me put them side by side so you compare. So you see the changes in the width of the grip, definitely very obvious, and also very obvious, you could tell the serrations and also the trigger design. So I don't have the original LCP in front of me, but I do have some shots of me using it in the past. But that's pretty much that. And you know, this is where we are today. Big improvements, and excited to shoot this gun for you guys. Alright guys, so when you order your Ruger LCP, and you go to pick it up from your FFL, this is what you're going to see. So this is the box that it comes with. Comes with a very nice sticker. So you have your manual, of course. It is very informative, especially if this is your first firearm. I highly recommend that you go through it. Has a lot of good safety and information about the firearm in general. I did read it through and through in anticipation for this video, but I know a lot of you guys are not interested, but you know, I have to say, you know, it is recommended to go ahead and read it. It does come with its own pocket holster from Ruger, which is very nice that they include that for you guys. And it's not the best in my opinion. I did go ahead and buy my own, but it definitely serves its purpose and definitely works. I'll go ahead and show you guys the one that I personally purchased, but it does come with one, which is really nice because a lot of other companies will not include that for you guys. Next, of course, you have your Ruger LCP. I have shot this before, so let's make sure. It's been safety checked. There's no rounds in the chamber, and it's an empty magazine, or no magazine. I was reading you can fire this gun without a magazine, in case you guys are wondering. I don't know if your magazine broke, last ditch effort, or you're just training and you didn't want to have a magazine in for whatever reason. You could drop one round at a time and basically charge the weapon like that. So you definitely can do that. Also want to show you guys it does come with a chamber flag, and in case you're not familiar, all you got to do is stick the chamber flag in, and there you go. You basically have an unloaded firearm, and everyone else could be aware that your firearm is unloaded. Some ranges or some areas may require you to have a chamber flag, so it's nice that that's included. Okay. You also have a lock, which is very simple to use in case you're not familiar with. Just go through this very quickly to not bore you guys that are familiar. You just run it through. You basically open the chamber and you just run it all the way through and through the back, and that's it. It's locked. And it does come with just one magazine, in case you guys are wondering. And it also has an extra base plate. Okay, so as for the specifications of this firearm, it is 6-round capacity plus 1 in the chamber, so you could have a total of 7 rounds total. It does have a positive ejection of the magazine, so if you could tell here, popped right out. So if you want, let's take a look at the magazine itself. So it does have nice little cutouts, so you can see how many rounds are loaded in the magazine, and you also have a pinky extension with a textured grip on the end, which is very nice. In my case, I got 2 of them. But usually I believe you get a flat base plate and then one with a pinky extension, so you could choose how you want to carry it. Personally, I like the pinky extension, so I'm not complaining about it. Now, in terms of the firearm itself, you also have a 2.75-inch barrel length. You have a 5.17-inch overall length of the firearm. You have a weight of 10.6 ounces. Now, the grip material, like I had previously mentioned earlier, is black high-performance glass-filled nylon. You also have alloy steel in the slide and in the barrel. The slide width itself is 0.75 inches, and your twist rate is 1 in 16-inch twist to stabilize the 380 auto firearm cartridge. It's also blued, the alloy steel on your slide and your barrel, and the MSRP is $349, although street price, I believe I paid maybe $230. I was able to find it for online. And if you do have any questions about buying online, it's totally legal. There's no problems with it as long as you send it to an FFL and then get your background checked on there. But I personally find that I get pretty good deals there, or you could go check out your local gun store. Now, the Ruger LCP, originally, I've seen it recently going for about $199. So if you want to get the older model, it is a little bit cheaper. But personally, I really like the upgrades on the LCP II, so I definitely go for that since I've had experience with both. Alright guys, so disassembly and assembly of the Ruger LCP II is very simple, but it does require one tool. So let me go through and show you guys how to do that pretty quickly. First thing you want to do is definitely safety check the firearm. Make sure it does not have a round in the chamber or in the magazine. So in this case, I have the magazine already out. And if I pull the slide, lock the slide back, you could tell there's nothing here. And the chamber, you could tell visibly, it is empty. So it has been safety checked. And now, rack the slide back forward. It's very simple. You're going to want to insert a finger inside of the trigger guard, and then just push the slide back ever so slightly. Have a flathead or a knife available, whatever works. And I just kind of pry it in there and pop it out. So as you can tell, the pin came out. leave that aside. The slide should just easily go forward at this point, which it does. And then you just push the spring forward, take it out carefully, nothing flies. And the barrel is very simple, just push forward and pull out. And that is a complete field strip. This is pretty much all you need to do in order to clean your firearm. So very simple. And in order to put it back together, you just literally do the same thing in the opposite way. So just put the barrel back in, put the spring back in the firearm. So should be set right on top of this area here. There's a small cutout on top of the barrel for you to put the spring back in. Make sure that's aligned properly. The slide should just easily go right back over as such. And now you see a small metal bar on the bottom part. I kind of like to put this over on top and then push it in to kind of get that bar out of the way. And you only want to pull the slide back slightly, or else it won't fit as well. But that's pretty much it. And then just relieve pressure, pull the slide back. That's it. You have a firearm ready to go. So that's all you need to do to assemble and disassemble the firearm. Now, in order to maintain your firearm, there's a few things you want to have on hand, and that is, in this case, some rem oil. It doesn't have to be rem oil. You can use another brand, but I personally choose this as my favorite. It cleans, lubricates, and protects from rust, just kind of like CLP. But in my experience, it's worked very well, so I'll continue using it. You do want to have your flathead in order to disassemble the firearm. I like this straw. It helps to give more like precise lubrication to where you want it. And then of course you will need a toothbrush in order to clean your firearm, and you will also need a brush in order to clean the barrel. Now this brush is from my Glocks, and since the 380 cartridge is the same diameter as a 9mm, it's more than adequate in order to clean it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, firearm is safe. So quick disassemble. Again, guys, just pop this out. Slide forward. Put this off to the side. Move the spring. And remove the barrel. So I like to start with the slide, but it really doesn't matter. So doesn't take too much. I like to brush it up. And then I have another paper towel available, so I could just clean it. And you want to get in there, clean all the dirt, everything out. So as you can tell, I have used the firearm fairly recently, so it is a little dirty. And same for the body of the firearm. And I'm running out of a little rem oil here, so I do have a spare one, but I think this will do just for this cleaning and demonstration. So again, I like to brush all up inside, making sure I'm getting everything clean. And again, I will clean it, wipe it down with a paper towel. Try to take out any debris I can. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll try to run it through the magazine, paper towel, just in order to clean this area, making sure all my spots are taken care of. And I could easily run it through the top. And make sure I don't leave any paper towel behind. Looks good. Next, for the spring and firing pin, I just give a little bit of a spray and a brush. Make sure there isn't any debris caught up in there. And then again, with my paper towel, clean it off. And notice I'm not like drenching this stuff. Doesn't take too much in my opinion. So just put a little more. All right, I think I got a little bit out. Still running out, but this is my brush for my Glock, but same diameter as a 380, so works well. Just to run it through, make sure your barrel's clean. A little tight, but definitely pull it out. And again, wipe down the outside. And the inside, I will do the same thing as I did with my where my magazine went. I just kind of like to run it through at least once and make sure the inside is clean of any debris. And more proper way to do this, I'll show you guys, but in case you don't have the proper tools, just running a paper towel through as such could get the job done. Now, it could be a little bit time consuming, but if you don't have the proper tools at hand, this does get the job done. You notice I already start to come out on the other end. And at this point, you can just pull it through. And sometimes it helps just to kind of twist it, make sure it doesn't break or anything inside. Excellent, and I'll just give it one last little spray, just to have some lubrication inside. And that's it. And then you just reassemble your firearm, and you should be good to go. So for the sake of repetition, put it in again. So again, into that cutout. Slide should go in pretty easily. And I like to alleviate a little bit of pressure as I put the pin in. Pull this metal bar down. And that's it. Good. Okay, so the proper way of cleaning your firearm that I was referring to was basically just how you have this tool right here. You'll notice there's an area here, a gap. I don't know if you can see that. But with that gap here, you would have a clean cloth that we use. You'd remove this brush. And initially you might want to just run the brush entirely through and then unscrew it to remove it. And also with this hole here, you want a clean gauze or square piece of paper towel. And what you would do is you would run it through with your lubricant cleaner, the barrel, remove it, and then take a new piece, run it through. And then once you run it through, take your piece out just to not run debris back in through the barrel. And that would be like the proper way to go ahead and clean your barrel. But for my purposes, generally what I do works pretty well. It's pretty easy and I don't need any special materials on hand. Okay, so in terms of accessories for the Ruger LCP II, I do leave this rubber band here grip on the firearm. It came with it and it just gives me a little extra grip, makes the grip a little wider, so I don't see why not. I just keep it on. I did buy an extra magazine. I did find my flat base plate that originally came with the Ruger LCP, and it is on my spare magazine. So I think that's very important since it only does come with one magazine, that you should buy a spare. I think it's always important to have more than one magazine available. Now in terms of ammunition selection, I did choose to go with this ammunition here. This is Fiocchi 380 XTP 25. It's a 90 grain hollow point, and in my case I think it's a pretty good round. I found it online. I was looking at a few ballistic tests and it seemed to perform pretty well. So I don't know if you could tell really well how it is, but that's the round. And then I just use regular full metal jacket to practice. Basically whatever is brass, this is I think Winchester, whatever is brass and at a good price, I'll pick it up. Now, in terms of holsters, I did get the Desanti's Superfly holster, and I really like it because of the fact that this is very grippy and it will stick in your pocket. And now if you have smaller pockets, what you could do is you could easily just take this off, and then there you go, it'll fit into your smaller pocket. And in case you're wondering, this does say G3 on it, for the specific model. So it works pretty well. And then I do have an ankle holster that I purchased. This is by Concealed Carrier. It says Universal Neoprene Holster. So it works pretty well. I like it. And it also obviously goes around your calf as well. So the way it will look, firearm will go inside. This has some elastic here. It'll snap right in. And you also have a pocket here for your spare magazine or for a pocket knife. If you want to hold the pocket knife there, it works pretty well also. So last little accessory per se that I wanted to discuss was the front sight. So I think you can see it pretty obviously. So what I did was I did add a little bit of fluorescent orange nail polish on the front, and it makes it a little easier to catch, a little quicker in my opinion. And I did get this idea from Nothing Fancy, who has a great YouTube channel, so I like to give credit where credit's due. And just to let you guys know, you can see it, and pretty visible in my opinion. I particularly like to shoot with this, and it makes a world of difference to me, even though it's a small thing. It did take a few tries to get it on properly. You don't want to do too much, you don't want to do too little, but it does make quite a big of a difference. Alright, so here I'm just kind of warming up with the Ruger LCP II and just shooting on the basic target that it comes with when I first go out to the range. And then later on, I'll do my precision targets and I'll see what kind of groups I could get. But like I said, this is pretty much just my warm-up and seeing what I could do with this thing. It's already been clean and lubricated like with my previous demonstration. So you could tell that my control of the firearm is not 100%. That's because I'm maybe focusing more on accuracy at this point, but it does give me pretty good control. You could see my thumb riding up pretty close, not too far from that barrel, and that's what you get with a short micro pistol like this one. So you definitely got to be careful with that. You don't want to have a safety accident. Alright, so let's see how I did out here. First time shooting it, I think I just shot one magazine, so it's only going to be 6 shots, but not bad for my first warm-up, but I think I'll do a little better next time around. Alright, so this is pretty much like my first real attempt to get a tight group at 7 yards. And I was pretty lucky, pretty empty day on the range. It must be like 50 slots for people to go out and shoot. And I'm only like 1 of 3 today on the pistol side at least. This is my local county range. So pretty nice public range. So you can tell how the shooting was going pretty good. My only mistake was I was really looking after every shot, and I'm really not following through on my shots like I'm supposed to. I think I was so focused on getting my marksmanship down that I was quick to drop my gun afterwards. But not a big deal. Something I could definitely improve on for next time. Now, if there's anything in my shooting that you guys see that I could improve, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm always looking to improve. I know I'm not the best, and that's why I'm always open to some good constructive criticism. So I was pretty excited to see how I did the first time. Like I said, this is 7 yards with a Ruger LCP II, and I had to say that it's a pretty respectable group right there. You have to understand exactly what you're shooting. It's not a very long barrel. You do not have a very long sight radius, so not bad. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit just for the sake of saving some time. But this is me shooting at 15 yards to see how far I could really extend this Ruger LCP II. And mind you, it is like a close combat type of firearm. A lot of people call it a get-off-me gun, which is really like for not even using sights. But I believe in using sights, and this is me really testing it to its max. Again, this is just a 6-shot group, and that's what I'm pretty much doing every single time I go out, because I figured I might as well just use a full magazine. It's what makes sense for this specific test. So I have to say, this is kind of where things got a little dicey, right? So this is kind of on the border of where you should and shouldn't be shooting from. Now, I did get 2 on the paper, but I could definitely do a lot better. So I'm giving it another shot. So here I'm just really trying to take my time. This is where I'm starting to reach that max effective range for the firearm, at least in my opinion. So I'm just really trying to take my time with it and seeing what I could do. But again, it's a really micro pistol, so there's only so far you could take it with accuracy and being a responsible shooter. So at the same time, you know, these could just be my limitations, not necessarily the limitations of the gun. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. So 15 yards this time. Did look a little better. Definitely some respectable numbers. I think if you were aiming for a torso size target, you'd definitely be on all the shots. There is one flyer, but I think it would still be a combat effective hit. So why not take it out a little further and try 25 yards? So that's what I'm going to do next. All right, so again, I'm just speeding it up just for the sake of time, but really I had to take my time for these 25-yard shot. Honestly, I was not able to see the red of the center of the target that well. I was pretty much aiming to try to hit in the middle of the paper. Just because of this distance and focusing on the front sight, it's really hard to get a good picture. Also, my trick of the nail polish with the light out in front of me, you're not able to see so much of the actual nail polish. The front sight did look black from this perception. So I guess under the right lighting conditions, it would help. But in this particular case, my front sight being painted wasn't too helpful. So going out for my long 25-yard walk. And as we get closer, I think you'll see that I did reach my max effective range with this pistol. So I'm happy that I'm all in the circle. So that's, I guess, a positive thing. There's 1, 2, 3, got 4, and then 5, 6 on the top right. So, I mean, I guess it depends on the size of your target that you're shooting from, but in general, I would not feel too comfortable taking a 25-yard shot with this pistol. All right, so this is the Disassembly Superfly, and I'm going to demonstrate how it works drawing the pistol if you needed to from this particular holster. All right, guys, so carrying a gun in basketball shorts is probably the laziest way to carry a gun, but I believe carrying one is better than staying unarmed. So what I would do is I would have the Ruger LCP II here in my basketball shorts. Again, very lazy way to carry a gun. But if I am carrying basketball shorts or just, you know, going out to walk the dogs, whatever it is, you know, I'd rather have this than nothing. So it's very easy to unholster and shoot. The Disassembly Superfly stays nice and tight in the pocket. So quick demonstration. So to break it down for you guys, usually when I pull the holster out of the pocket, I would pull directly down and out to ensure that the holster remains in my pocket, and then I present. So again, one more time, so you guys can check it out. I'm here, it represents itself. I got it. That time the holster did fall on the ground, but that was after I got a good grip. Not going to be 100%. Again, it's from the pocket, so that's kind of what you could expect from it. But I could get a consistent draw from my firearm, and that's all that really matters to me. Now this is the ankle holster by Concealed Carrier. So demonstrate this one. So basically, I like to put the top strap obviously above my calf muscle for a secure fit. And then the bottom is quite simple. Again, this is an unloaded firearm just for demonstration purposes only. And that's it. Pretty simple. And you can see the concealment on the right pair of pants is pretty good. Wouldn't notice anything different, I don't believe. So pretty easy. And then drawing the pistol, a little more complicated obviously when you're going from the ankle. But generally I'll give you a quick example to show you how it works. This is what I would do. I would basically go down first with two hands, more towards the top. I would pull directly up, exposing the firearm. Then with one hand, I would unbuckle and then get my 3-finger grip and out. So obviously it's a little more complicated, but I'm gonna try to do it in full speed. Out. So it's not perfect, it's not smooth. I could probably use some practice on it, but the system itself is not the most consistent and easy to use. But if you absolutely need to absolute concealment, it's a good spot to use. Okay, so again, this firearm is safety checked. Nothing inside. Now, in terms of ergonomics of this firearm, it is pretty nice. Made some great improvements over the original LCP, and I have the LCP custom here for comparison, so you guys can check them out. Now, there is big differences they had here. So these serrations obviously are very different. There was no front side serrations on the Ruger LCP. And this has also been safety checked in case anyone is concerned for my safety. And you know, the trigger safety is a big difference. They were able to lighten up the trigger pull with that. So, you know, kudos to them for that. The grip is wider, which makes it much more ergonomic to hold. Now, even with this pinky extension, which I refer to as a ring finger extension, you still have a pinky flying in the air. But that doesn't bother me. It's something you could get used to. And for this style of pistol, you know, it's something that you could expect. The grip is a little more squared off, as opposed to this one, which is more oval, the original. And also, you notice you have a little bit of grip here in the front. So this is pretty nice for those shooters that like to put a finger up front to kind of help with the recoil. The original did not have that. So that's pretty cool. See what else you can have. We talked about serrations. The grip is a little bit wider, which gives you a little more meat to hold on to. So no pun intended there. And also you have a very positive ejecting magazine, which is very nice. Let's see how this one ejects, just to be fair. Also ejecting positively as well. So that is definitely a good thing. The grip extends all the way into the grip texture, the rough grip texture extends all the way into the pinky, which is very nice. Pinky extension on the base plate. And the grip, the trigger pull just pulls very nicely. So I'm gonna pull it, wall, and very clean break. Take out the magazine, and we'll do that one more time. So slack, there's my wall, and break. So very short slack here, and a nice firm break, as opposed to the LCP custom. You have a little bit of a longer take up and a firm wall. I definitely like the trigger on the LCP II. I think it has some great improvements. Aside from that, aesthetically, the sights, not as high as the LCP custom, but definitely much higher than the regular LCP. And you know, it's a big improvement there. You do have the anti-glare on the new LCP II on the sights, which you did not have on the original LCP. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, you know, leave them below. But in terms of ergonomics, you know, I really like it. I think it looks pretty cool. They have their logo here on the side. Not a big deal. And they do have many different color variations that they offer. So especially for the LCP, the original. But if you wanted just for the Ruger LCP II, I believe there's 2 new colors out, and they were in black camo if I'm not mistaken, and possibly like a green, but you can check that out on Ruger's website. And for the price, I think you guys are getting a lot of gun. So pretty good in my opinion, thumbs up. All right, so my concluding thoughts on the Ruger LCP II is that it's an excellent firearm for law enforcement that want to have a backup. It's also a great gun for civilians if you wanted to have a backup, although it may not be necessary for civilians to have a backup in everyday life, but if you did feel the need to have one, it's very concealable and easy to carry. Now, for women getting their first gun, might not be the best choice. A lot of women like to have something very small, compact, concealable, and a relatively easy cartridge to fire, which is the 380 auto. But in this particular case, it's going from a very small platform, and shooting from small platforms such as this are not always the easiest to shoot from. It could be a little uncomfortable. This is not a pleasant range gun to shoot. This is more of a latch ditch effort type of firearm, and I would treat it as such. So if this is your first firearm that you're purchasing, I may consider something a little bigger, a little more ergonomic. But for the size of this gun, and its intended use, it is fairly ergonomic. Now, like I said, I'm very happy with this gun. I've had it for quite some time now, and it's served me well. Luckily, I've never had to use it for a self-defense scenario, but in my training and carrying it, it's been very comfortable and very good gun to me. It's very easy to assemble, disassemble, so maintenance is super easy, and shooting is fairly easy. It's been pretty durable for me. Haven't had any problems, so that's pretty much it. If you guys have any further questions or would like to know more information about it, you're more than welcome to leave a comment below or send me a message. And thanks again for watching. This is We Run Guns with our first Master Series on the Ruger LCP II. So if you'd like to leave any constructive criticism below, let me know so we can improve on this series. And thanks again for watching. WRG out.